All right. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Um, I am here. We're going to do a little bit of prepping for the teaser trailer for episode 1, which is also sort of the series trailer for Star Trek Endurance. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to listen to the audio edit that I have right now, and then I'm going to break down what I'm thinking for the first few shots, maybe the last shot. There is a section in the middle that I won't be able to do because I don't have all the assets for it. But hey, let's take a listen as to what is coming up. I'm in the right. It has been 113 years since the USS Lexington was reported missing, with all hands presumed killed in action. Starfleet and the Klingon Defense Force have come together to build a new starbase on the edge of a little explored and dangerous region of the Beta Quadrant, called the Shackleton Expanse. Now, a new crew will take up the challenge of solving the mysteries of this new frontier. Join us for a new Star Trek Adventures actual play adventure in a new era with a new crew and a new ship. Captain Tenelia is the no-nonsense Cation captain of the USS Kong Z. Commander Va is a joined Trill with ties to Klingon culture. Dr. Hobnall is the strange Osnolus doctor with questionable bedside manner. Lieutenant 7 of 12 is a liberated Borg Klingon, trying to reconnect to his culture while learning what it truly means to be an individual. Lieutenant Broken Chip is the optimistic Exocomp communications officer. Lieutenant Commander Dulles is the Betazoid engineer, who also takes it upon herself to ensure the morale of the crew. And finally, Petty Officer Billy is a beluga whale navigation expert with musical talents the crew may not always fully appreciate. The first mission is simply to get to Narendra Station, properly called Starbase 364.
Stardate 59943.2. Lieutenant Commander Dulas personal log. The shine on that commander penny hasn't quite worn off yet, and I'm not sure I ever wanted to. I'm on my way to Starbase 364, Narendra Station. Is that how you say it? I'm not entirely sure. But it's this joint Federation Klingon venture out here in the Beta Quadrant, and to be honest, I'm rather excited. I haven't gotten to spend much time with Klingons, and I'm hoping I might learn something or at least get to try some of their food. But oh my goodness, you would not believe how packed they have us in this runabout. Seriously, I think the Federation might be suffering budget cuts or something, or at least someone should think of the security concerns. Half the bridge crew is here, including the captain and Commander Va. Well, and then there's our navigation expert, Petty Officer Billy. Well, being a beluga whale, their transport takes up half the runabout and has the rest of us bumping elbows, and I don't think I could even turn around. What is the Federation coming to?
The routine trip to Starbase 364 is interrupted by a distress call from the planet Xerxes 4, a verdant M-class world with no sapient life apart from a Federation research team. On approach to the planet, the research team fails to respond to any communication. They are either unable or unwilling to respond to any hails. Starfleet regulations are clear. The rescue of the researchers, or at least finding out what happened to them, takes priority over reaching Narendra Station in a timely fashion. Join us for the first episode of Star Trek Endurance, only on the Top Hats Off channel. All right, so that is what we have that I'm pretty happy with. If you guys have tips or any suggestions, let me know. But I think what I'm going to do first is plan out the first shot. So want it to go until about... Where do we want it? Now, a new crew will take up the challenge. Starfleet and the Klingon Defense Force have come together to... Yeah, so I want it to go until about here, and it's going to fade into the next shot, which is going to be of Narendra Station. So, let's see, we've got 272. So I'm going to save this. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open up the Lexington. Actually, I'm just going to open up a new file. All right, get rid of you. I don't need you. I don't need you. I'm going to go to append, and I don't think my browser, my file browser comes up. That's okay. So 52 is where we want this. Gotta remember that. Gonna grab my USS Lexington collection. There it is. All right, let's set this to 272. I want the ship to come in from the left. So how is everybody? I see we've got 7 people here, although only 3 have hit like. For shame. All right, so let's switch it to look dev so I can actually see what the heck's going on. I want to be able to read the Lexington. It'll show up here pretty well. So let's zoom in a bit by just using or increasing focal length. I mean, that'll be good. All right. So let's go here. Then at the end of this, here. So I don't actually want it to go all the way off screen. It's going to go to like here and start fading up to Narendra Station, I think. Put it here. Let's set these to vector. We'll see how that goes. Actually think it might be okay if we started here. You can see the NCC 1709. So let's try that. Make sure it's on. Both on, but yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that'll work. All right. Let's grab these guys, because these, for some reason, I have them set up as having automated animation. They really shouldn't. What we're going to do is we're just going to delete all these keyframes that just aren't the first one. Yeah. And then still, some of them are not coming in. What did I miss? You. All right. Now, the next thing is, how do I want to light this? Because I don't actually want a sun lamp. I want it to be a bit more dramatic than that. Not opting for an Oops All Nacelles vessel? Not this time. Although this isn't the ship for the game. This is actually the ship from the last season, or last series, I don't know. And it is here to remind us kind of what has come before. Also, let's bring this down to okay, that's pretty good. I think I'm actually going to go with a what do you call this? A spotlight. So I want this to be more like 1,000 watts. Harsh fallout or fall off is fine. All right, so I'm gonna move it so that the Enterprise, or well, the Lexington, sorry, starts out not inside the light cone. Also gonna come over here, and that'll actually make it a little bit easier. going on because that's angled from the camera towards the subject. So first, get a little bit of, we can see the NCC 1709 enters the light cone. All right, see, that's part of the problem. Is it needs to be able to, I need to be able to read Lexington logo down here. So back you away, bring it down. All right, now we need it to be brighter. It's at 8. Okay, yep, that works. That now puts us, like, bring this back a bit. Okay. By right there, we can see it. It still needs to be brighter. Mirror Universe Lexington was OP. Yeah. All right, let's use some nodes. Let's get a black body. Turn this to 5,500. Let's bring this to, like, I don't know. Yes. Is this in any way realistic? No. Does that bother me? Also, no. Okay. Oh. Yeah, that'll probably work. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keyframe the location on the. Yep. Then what we're going to do is we're actually going to slide it so that it, over the course of the animation, actually moves, which will then put it. There we go. So that the Lexington actually goes into and out of the light cone. Of course, the end. Although I don't want it to go that far. Before we fade. All right, so we're also going to be vector, I think. Yep. Spends most of his time seeming like it's in full light, but then it starts to go back into shadow as I start talking about it being lost. Awesome. All right. So next we need to get a good background for this because this is a boring background. I'm gonna go into world. Let's see. Mix shader. This, I'm just gonna turn this to a bright light. Make sure I know which one I'm. Okay. And we add a light path in. Is camera ray. All right, so no, we need to switch. I never remember which one. So basically, what this is doing is it's saying, hey, if the light ray is a camera ray, like it's just directly from the camera, use this guy. If the ray is from any other direction, use this. So what's actually happening is this is being used to actually light the model. This is being used for what the camera sees. We're not going to leave it as like a bunch of purple nonsense. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in one of my favorite textures, a Voronoi texture. We're going to double it to. We're going to set this one to like 350 and this one to like 500 for now. We're going to bring in a color ramp. We're going to go this. Add. Nope, not vector math. Math node. Add. Actually, no, I want color mix color. So the mix color gives me a factor here, which basically it's applied before you apply any of these other things. So what happens is, with the factor, if I just put this to 1, right? Put this here and this here. What you see is that it just adds these naively, right? But if I put this to 0.5, what that does is it applies a factor of 0.5 to this color first, and then adds it. So that way I can bring it all the way down to 0, so that only this one shows through. Bring it to 1, which is both of them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one at 0.5, so these are sort of like the dimmer, quote-unquote, smaller stars in the background. Okay. And so, let's see. We're going to drop the number of samples down. 4,096. Let's try 128. Okay, and then we're going to go to the compositor. I'm going to append my film emulation node. Or, well, it's a node tree, but it's a, whatever, it's a group. So yeah. So we're going to click Use Nodes, Nodes, let's say Film Emulation. Drop that in there. We're going to put this to, hey, use the film emulation on the camera. The jitter, we're going to drop it down to 0.2. Elation is probably fine. Set to 10.8. And yeah, I think that'll probably be good. You know, let's up the glare just a little. We'll see what happens. Yeah, a little bit more glare. All right. So we're gonna set this back to a, and let's hit F12. Go to render result. Y'all can see what's going on. Oh, we forgot to turn on motion blur. Make sure that it looks good with me. Blur. Oh, all right. So while we wait for that to render a little bit, how's everyone? Everyone getting ready for a good weekend? I got a show coming up tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. We got Dapper Reacts again. We should actually have Kip and Vishanti on, so that'll be fun. This time next week, we should be doing the final episode of the Alien RPG. I'm having a lot of fun with. I don't know if you guys are. Let me know in the chat if you guys are enjoying Alien RPG. And if you haven't seen it, did you know about it? And if you did know about it, is it just franchise that doesn't interest you, or what? Yeah, let me know. All right, where are we? 48. That's a pretty good time. Thing with samples are right, like after a certain point, it's diminishing returns, but up until then, still trying to balance like render time versus actual quality. So like all this fuzziness, eventually it would go away if I just set the render samples to high enough value, but like then it would take hours. ONP Formula One Dog Racing says it was great. I still need to watch the second one. Well, hey, I mean, got just about a week until we start streaming the third one, so I would say got plenty of time. I mean, I've been having a lot of fun with it. I like the Alien T2. I'll be honest, I really do like it. Fun one. Yeah, I'll be honest, like I have something to hide. No, I secretly hate it. All right, going through the post processing. I might want to change the. Take a look at my. Yeah, we'll put it on low contrast, but I think that also means I'm gonna lower the glare values. Go back to the compositor. So the glare, oh, 0.12, 1.2. Yeah, that's a little bit better, I think. Still got some pretty good glare coming off. We've got that halation coming up, makes it look like on film. That's always nice. This whole thing is a bunch of nonsense. Like, it's all this craziness is just there to make it look like there's some it's basically been put on film. That's literally all this is. Yep. Pretty weird, but hey. That's okay. There's actually an error in it. Don't know where exactly it is. Oh, it's here. Yeah. Yep. That is it. Literally here. I need to go fix that on my the file where I store this note normally. Because for a while I wasn't able to change this without having it. I wasn't sure why, and I knew it had to be somewhere where this group input wasn't going into where it should. So now I know. Yeah, I'm sorry about the over talking. There's a lot of players, and it is a. It's tough to do, especially since there's a pretty big delay in some cases. Like, we have someone who's coming in from Australia, so a really big delay there. And I did try to keep it a little bit under control, but yeah, that's. I'm sorry about that. All right. There is one more thing. I want to go back to the shader editor, and I think there's too many stars. What do you guys think? Are there too many stars? Let me know. Because I feel like there are, and I can lower the number of stars by just dragging this flag here. So it's at 0.91 now. So down to like 0.47. Okay. What we'll do is we'll go to image. I'll do image editor again. But what I'll do is I'll set one of them to plot. Well, I guess it won't. All right. So we'll see how it looks with fewer stars. There were a lot of stars. Is there a Macbeth Dapper Demona? Someone else who's been alive as long and survived the KT extension? I would tell you, but then I would have to kill you. By the way, we're probably not going to go for super long on this stream. It's mostly an emergency stream because the originally scheduled Alien show just couldn't happen. So I figured I would show you a little bit of my process for creating trailers that I do make. Because, I don't know, people ask me about stuff like that sometimes. So I feel like it's good to just let people know. Yeah, originally today was supposed to be the Alien game, but Zerolon had work emergencies. He's like by far the best trained guy at the office. So like, yeah. Alright, so let's take a look at slot 1. There's a lot more and bigger and brighter stars. They just seem like kind of a lot. So I feel toning them down a little bit. But yeah, this is my typical space setup. I have a star field that's just random noise. And then I have a separate background that's actually affecting the models. Because realistic star noise, if you want it to actually light anything, you have to make it super bright, which is annoying and also really costly because it's hard to calculate for the computer. But it also doesn't tend to look super realistic. I like that better. What do you guys think? We got lots of stars, not so many stars. I think the not so many stars looks better. Yes, a peek behind the editing curtain, Joshua Geese. So yeah, I think I'm happier with the second option of fewer stars. I think that looks a bit better. Yeah, that's a lot. That draws the eye away from the Lexington. And this is probably the Lexington's last appearance on the channel. for the Star Trek, like the Tilakal Saga playlist. I can't say it won't ever come back for anything, but like this is basically it for this model for this series. So yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're going to save this as, and we're going to call this. This is going to be in the Star Trek Adventures. We're going to say SO1EO1S1. That's Season 1, Episode 1, Shot 1. Save. I'm also going to try to remember to pack external data. So pack resources. Pack 31 files. So what that does is it saves the files that were referencing other files on my desktop, or sorry, on my hard drive, and it packs them into the blend file, which normally you wouldn't want to do because it just balloons the size of the blend file for no good reason. But I want to send this to Sheepit, which I'm actually going to start doing right now. And on Sheepit, you need to have all of the files, either in the blend file or in a zip file, and I don't want to really go through the trouble of zipping this file. So, yeah, I pack all the external files. You can unpack them later, too, if you want to then go save data. But since this file isn't going to stick around, I'm going to delete it eventually. There's not a whole lot of point. So I'm just going to... So I'm actually currently uploading this Sheepit right now. So, you know, if you are someone who likes to render for me, next few days would be great times to render. Save it in Dapper's maps. Let's see. When is the time travel episode so we can see the Lexington crew again, says the rabbit. So I can't give spoilers. That would be a spoiler. I will say there will be important crossover with the Lexington and Star Trek Lexington and whatnot. There have already been things in Lexington that foreshadow strongly upcoming episodes for Star Trek Endurance. And by the end, the whole mystery of the Tilakal should be solved and any threat dealt with. Or, you know, the galaxy might fall into ruin. Who knows? But, yeah. All right, let's check on how this is going on Sheepit. All right. Okay, so this was 272. What we're going to do is we're going to come back to this right here. And so I'm going to open up a notepad, actually, so I can keep track of what frames I want for my next shot. The next shot is going to be Narendra Station. And I think I want it to come in... So this shot is coming in from the left to the right. And so I think what I want to do, one of the principles for animation that's kind of important, is you want to carry motion through a few shots before you change directions, stuff like that. But I want to have sort of a gentle change of direction, so that we go from having this left to right to sort of a bottom left to top, or maybe towards the middle. And then the next shot is going to have something come top down. So we want this one to start fading in at probably about 245. And then let's listen to this. Starfleet and the Klingon Defense Force have come together to build a new starbase on the edge of a little explored and dangerous region of the Beta Quadrant, called the Shackleton Expanse. Now, a new crew will take up the challenge. Alright, yeah, so I basically want it till the end of this. So that's going to be frame 522. 522. Alright. So that means we're going to do a new file again. I don't need either of you. Well, I need the camera. I guess not camera, but whatever. All right, so we're going to append Narendra Station. Narendra Station. Okay. This will be a bit big here. This is my Narendra Station. It is based on a Earth starbase from someone else who made a lot of this, but then I made some pretty heavy modifications so that it looks more like the Narendra Station as depicted in Star Trek Adventures books versus Earth starbase. So I think This is going to be one where there's a lot of camera motion. We also need to make sure that we set the flipping plane farther back. Okay. Rabbit says, I feel like I need to rewatch Lexington and try to find early foreshadow. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's there. It's not super subtle. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to say. All right. First, we're going to get the actual frame values in. I'm going to go 245 to 522. Okay. Now the 522 is actually going to be a hard cut. So I need to keep that in mind. We're not doing a fade over that one. So let's. All right. Make the camera big. Start here. Okay. Need that to actually be first frame of the animation, not the first frame file. Okay. So then by the end, I want this here. No, I want that to be there by about. But I'm also going to drop this. We're going to zoom out. Yeah, we'll zoom out. It also means that. Okay. And then we're going to actually frame this in. Because then the next thing I want to do, I want camera to up a little bit, in a little bit, and angle down a little bit. Then I want this to zoom in a little bit so that it says Starbase 364, and we can also see the Klingon text. And this guy's going to rotate a little bit around the z-axis. Not actually going to rotate in the animation, I'm just setting it up here so we can Starbase 364 Narendra. Okay. Next thing is going to be lighting. All right. So we're going to use a sun lamp for this. Make it big so I can see. The not quite parallel camera. Some shadows. A weird right angle, but I think it might actually still work. Find out. Oh, hey, Jens van Broekhoven, how are you? Yeah, that works weirdly well, even though it's a very strange angle. Let's see how it looks. Well, camera needs to up more. Right. Okay, yeah, there is that. I don't want this all to be in shadow. Like, this is going to be dark again. Oh. Yeah. All right. So then that is going to mean that this. That. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. It still says Starbase 364 Narendra. You can still see the Klingon text. And then in the final bit, you can even see UFP and Klingon logos. Because it's a joint UFP on Defense Force Station. Awesome. Okay. I think that works. Got the lighting in here, the doors. Yeah. All right. So Let's bring in our. Yeah, I'm just going to import. I'm going to append the world from the previous thing that we just did. So, I'm sorry that you can't see this, but I'm just maneuvering around my hard drive. We're going to go to world. We're going to grab world. We're going to switch this from world to world 1, which has got stars. Awesome. All right. Pick motion blur. Let's turn up the star. Well, the sun. Ooh, that's a little on the bright side. Let's bring it to 1.5. Okay, that's a bit better. I'm gonna once again use a black body radiation, and this one is gonna be 5,750. Give it a slightly warm tinge. Also going to append in film emulation. Again, you can't see. Compositor, nodes. All right. Yeah, what do you guys think? Oh, this is Blender. I am using Blender. I use Blender for almost everything. So this is while I'm talking about in a render station. We see the camera pull down, which will actually cause some parallax with the stars and whatnot. And the camera comes in for a nice little close-up of the Narendra station bit. Which also, yeah. Like, it's almost like a dolly zoom, but like it's not doing the, it's zooming in while moving in rather than zooming out while moving in. So I don't know what you call that. Like a dolly zoom. Yeah. Let's put it on here. You can see I'll put this to let's see. Oh, where's my frame? Frame rate 30 seconds. Use playback mode to frame dropping so we can skip a few frames if we need. Alright. So oh, but I wanted to come in from the bottom left, right. Okay, so that means I need this camera. Actually, that thing. Not here. Why can't I? There we go. All right. So Narendra station comes in. It's the center. And boom. All right, that's a little bit too far to the left, I think. Try this. Yeah, I think that'll. All right, that's pretty good. So we will call this 2, same naming convention. Awesome. Blender got even better with GIMP 3. I actually haven't downloaded GIMP 3. I've heard good things though. What are Bedbroke? You seem to know what should I be looking for in terms of improvements for GIMP 3 that would make me want to actually go out and actually. Because I mean, right now I think I'm using GIMP 1. I mean, it does what I need it to. So like, I don't know. I hear it's really good though. I'm also uploading this. Oh wait, first things first. Gotta pack external data. All right. Now we'll save it. Now I'll send it to Sheepit. If you don't pack that external data, it'll just give you a bunch of errors and then not work. And what not work means is whenever Blender doesn't have a file that it needs, it has like default like data. So for instance, if I don't send it this the texture that determines what color everything is, it'll just be magenta. Which is, you know, not what you're normally looking for, generally speaking. So, yeah, we don't. But let me see how it's doing on Sheet. Definitely uploading. It's taking a little bit longer than the last one. I think the files for this are a lot bigger. Like, I'm pretty sure that like this image texture is like 4K or something. Whereas the Lexington textures just aren't that high definition. Yeah, pretty. Almost forgot that I wanted to come in from the bottom left, though. And no one even reminded me. How dare. Changing layers and okay, hold on. Mostly the thing that should have been in GIMP 2 already. Changing layers and stuff. What does that mean? I don't really know what changing layers and stuff means. I could change layers in GIMP like 1.0. Bottom left, top right. Alright, let's save this. Backup failed. Can't you make backup? Oh, it's because I'm uploading it. It won't let me save it properly while it's uploading. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Alright. Yeah. All right, this should almost be uploaded. Yeah, it's 86. So let's see. I am thirsty. I'm gonna get me a hard Arnold Palmer. I got in a can. I mean, I say it's hard. It's not that hard. It's technically would be weak even for a beer. But hey, I like it. Hard, not overly sweet. Okay, that's a G2, and it's up on Sheepit. Nice. Now we should be able to save. There we go. All right. So then let's open back up the editor. So here I need a shot of the Kongzi, and this is going to be a little tricky one. So this one needs to start at 123. And it's going to go until basically here. So wherever this starts. Now, a new crew will take up the challenge of solving the mysteries of this new frontier. Join us for a new Star Trek Adventures actual play adventure in a new era with a new crew and a new ship. Captain... Okay. So, basically, I need it to get to frame 980. 988. But I also need to know that when it says new ship, I need to be able to see the name of the ship. And a new ship. Yep. Alright, so basically, the important frame is 930. Okay. So we'll save right now. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to actually open my Obena class file. Alright. Because this actually has basically what I need. We'll check on what the background is. So the world. Yeah, no, we're not going to go with this. We're just going to import the world from the last one. So all of them have the same basic background setup. So we just append the world. that. Boom. That should have changed. Yeah, there we go. All right. I will also append the film emulation. Drop that into the compositor. Oh, it's already in here because I'm an idiot. Yeah, okay, cool, that makes sense. All right, so what I want to do is, all right, so this is the front-facing view. We're gonna go to the back-facing view and get this camera zeroed out on the X and Z axis. So X, 0, Z. And actually that probably. All right. Well, I also want this to be a bit of a wide shot. So we're going to bring this to 25. Bring this. It doesn't actually matter if the camera moves or if the ship moves, because it's out in deep space. It doesn't really matter. What I'm going to do is I think it'll be easier if the camera is the only thing that moves. So between here, I want to go. So, oh, and I need to set the frames correctly. All right, 523 to 988. So let's see. And then 933 is a special one. So 933 is here. Right about here. I want this ship to have come to here. Okay. Then 930. Yeah. A fair while later. This camera is going to be focused at. All right, so at this point we'll have been talking about the Kong Z. Then the real thing is, how does the camera get there? And this is a bit of a problem. We need this to come up. So, the camera's going to come up here. And here, I want it to actually be able to see the whole ship. Okay. The ship comes in over you like it's that first shot of Star Wars, right? So you can see how big the ship is. And here, I want to angle this up a little bit. All right. Ship comes in. Pull up the camera so we can see it from underneath. The camera tilts down to keep it roughly centered. Nope, roughly centered means here. Also means here we need to come down a little bit. All right. Oh, wait, I also want to set this to 30 frames per second so everything actually timed right. And then we're also going to make sure that it's frame dropping, which it already is. Okay. That should actually get us the right timing. Non-destructive layers. Ooh, okay, that is good. Since the power of... All right. Keep the ship centered. All right. This, though, I'm gonna change the keyframing here. So I'm gonna go to the graph editor. Keyframes. Here they are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unselect these, and then I'm just going to drag the this motion. Alright. No, don't like that. What if I drag them this way? Okay. Oops. Can we switch this? I just even these out a little bit. Because I don't want there to be a feeling of like the camera stopping. But also this is not a great. Yeah, I want this to be pulled back a little bit more. And then also probably shifted like this. Let's see how that is. Come around, up to the top, and we get the Kong Z. And then I don't want it to hold on that spot. So what I want it to do is come into here, come down a bit, be down like this, and then also back so it's not like a Dutch angle anymore. Yeah, let's try that. So we come down to here, see the Kong Z, and it means I also want this keyframe here. I want all of these to be a little bit bigger. And we don't technically hold, but we slow down in our shots here. Get the NCC 5, Kong Z, the bridge, comes back up. Up. I want it to come a little far along. See how that looks. Pretty good. But right here, I don't like this framing. So what we're going to do is we're going to up a little bit. All right. So keep Kong Z in frame. Awesome. Hey, Jens Ben Brokoven for €5 says you should make a Blender for Noobs video. I mean, I could, but I feel like there's just so many people who've done a better job than I'm going to. Because, I mean, really, there are a lot of people who've done a really good job with Blender for Noobs. Turn this off here. I forgot, we don't actually have lights in the scene, which is probably important. How am I going to light this in a way that isn't stupid? Okay. So, we're going to first increase ambient light a bit. Not that much. All right, cool. So we also need a way to light this that's going to look good both in the first shots and in this shot. So we want it to come in from the right, and we want it to have a fairly shallow angle. Because you're going to get some lighting from here, but also that lens flare is too. Let's turn this down. All right, so we're going to turn. Oh, it's already at point. Really? All right, well, let's try 0.15. All right, that's better. Is I want a sunlight. All right, so might have been here. Low angle. To like 3. Okay. So how does that look from here? Right. All right. So this way. Yeah, look at that. Alright, let's maybe make it even a little pointing down. And right around here. Nope, that's too shallow. We need to be able to read the entire DC 835. But only just. Alright. 933, so we can check that frame. Oh, I like this highlight here. Over on the right. Yeah. You can read the NCC 83305. The highlight helps define the shape of the saucer section. Yeah. Light coming in from the bridge, from navigation lights. You can see the lights. Okay. And then our final frame. Yeah, all that's good. The cell's coming towards you. All right. And over here, it's coming in. Is it still well defined against the background? Yes. Awesome. Well, that's basically all the shots up until the point where I don't have the art assets, because those are art. I can't talk. Those are art assets that Chesh is getting me, and she's probably going to have them done in a week or so. But let's work on our color management. So let's see. No, it needs to be at least a higher contrast. Medium high versus base contrast. Yeah, medium low. Let's no, that's too dark. Yeah, I think medium low. Let's take a do we have motion blur on? More realistic. Let's just try a test frame. Oh wait, what do I have as my actual maximum? 4096? Yeah, let's not do 4096. Let's go back to 128. 128 is a good number. Geez, 4096 is a lot. Like, a lot. Alright, so let's go back to the image editor. Go to render results. Alright. Alright, let's hit render and see how this ends up looking. Oh, it's still canceling the old render. Canadians are trustworthy, Jens Van Broekhoven? Are you sure about that? That doesn't seem right to me. That can't possibly be. But hey, let's also check see how that's going. Let's see. These are not big projects, so they're actually probably going to be fast. Yeah, the first set of frames is already done, and I can download it. The next one is 83% done. So yeah, that's also. I'm just looking at some. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. Cool. So yeah, I'm gonna be wrapping up pretty soon. This was, like I said, this is just a short little stream, so you can see like the like how I bother. So let's actually get a render in. Let's see. Canadians are indeed more trustworthy than current U.S. leaders, but I don't think that's actually new. I think they're a lot more trustworthy than U.S. leaders than normal. But like overall, if you ask me at any point in my life if I would trust a random Canadian or like a U.S. elected federal official, I mean, the federal official would be the one who would win, like every single time without fail. That's not even like a question that I really need to ask myself. Like, yeah, random Canadian official. So, yeah. I've never been a huge fan of the United States federal government, especially because, I worked for them for 6 years. And it was absolute. It was just terrible. It was torturous. I hated not every second of it. I hated virtually every second of it. And I wouldn't trust any of the people who were in charge of us as far as I could throw them, and some of them were pretty heavy. So, yeah. As Becca Justiniano says, yeah, federal officials are almost by definition untrustworthy. Yeah, basically. I'm actually a little bit surprised no one jumped into voice chat. I mean, actually, in the USS Kongzi voice chat on the Top Hats Off Discord server. Which reminds me, I am going to go ahead and put the invite link here in chat in case you're not a member of that server and you would like to be. Because, on server. I don't know. Come hang out and get updates. I paste sometimes I paste things that aren't actually available to the public in there. So like unlisted videos sometimes. Stuff like that. And also, I kind of want to show off the bottom of the ship because I did a lot of work on the bottom of the ship after thinking I was done with the ship, and then double-checking reference photos of the Obena class from Star Trek Lower Decks, which is the only show it's appeared in. And noticing that, like, oh, I was missing a lot of stuff. So, like, all this blue paneling, the little square bits here that have the phaser strips going down the middle, all of this detail here, this, whatever this is, like, yeah, I just didn't have it. I didn't have these little, like, rays that come out here. I didn't have any of that. But as I was looking at reference photos, I was like, oh, geez, that's a big part of the design, and I can't leave that out. Jens von Broekhoven says, we're all afraid of Trump. You should be. I wish I had something better to say. You should be. He's a fascist who's working on being a dictator. He is already starting to disappear people without due process. Well, I mean, disappear already. Process. Yeah, he's already disappearing people. Yeah, you should be scared. That is an entirely appropriate reaction. I do think, though, that the stars aren't bright enough. So what I'm going to do is go into here, and I'm going to bring this up to 1.5. And then we're going to go to a different slot. We're going to hit F12 again for render and see if the brighter stars make it look a little better. But yeah, you definitely should be. Now, you probably shouldn't be as scared as if you were living in the US, which I don't recommend doing. I don't recommend visiting the US. If you have any vacation plans that are in the US, you should cancel them. Do not come here. For one thing, if you are trans or non-binary, or you just don't look like a cis person, there is a very fair chance that you will be hassled and possibly even detained at any border or entry point by customs. That is a distinctly realistic possibility. So there's that. Yeah, don't go to the US. So, yeah. So, fun time to be alive. Let's double check on the Sheepit. See how that's going. I'm also going to open up my download manager because I'm going to start downloading some of the frames because a bunch of them are done. I do recommend getting a download manager if you're because some of those downloads are really big, and a download manager can save you if you have something happen like the download gets. And let's see, are almost halfway done with this render. So this, let's see, here's how it looked before. This is what we're getting right now. Obviously, there are a few changes, right? Like the lens distortion is in effect here. And also, I have a different color for the high pass than just white. I don't always bother with fiddling with the high pass, and actually the current version of Blender has a high pass option anyway, but my film emulation setup didn't have Blender didn't have a default high pass color select so that you could change the color temperature of your render. But now Blender does have it. But when I made that film emulation group, like node group, it didn't, so I just did it myself. So let's see. Oh, okay. So yeah, I like these stars better. You can actually see the stars, whereas in this one, yeah, they barely exist. Yeah, it's subtle, but like it's there. I don't know if you guys can see. I have a relatively, but like this is how it was originally, and then I just brightened them a bit. And then Jens Van Broekhoven for €2 says, "We'll always keep supporting the good Americans." Thank you. Look, here's the thing: we need it. I don't recommend that you support any U.S. corporations. I don't recommend that you buy any U.S. imports. But if you have friends or small businesses or content creators or people like that who are Americans who are likely to be victims or to be suffering under the new regime, or who are attempting to do anything like rally a community or are in danger or something like that. Yeah, if any foreign aid on that case, even on an individual level, is much appreciated. Which isn't just me, right? Like, there's a lot of people out there that are in roughly the same position I am, and yeah, we need help. All right, let's save this as we're gonna save it as shot 3. All right, well, guys, I have finished getting the animation done for all 3 of the first shots that we're gonna have for the trailer. I have another few shots that are already basically blocked out. I'm not going to go through the whole process of that. But you guys can see, like, this is my process, right? So what I do is, first I come up with the ideas. What shots do I actually, right? And we'll go back to the, this right here, right? So first, I want a shot of the Lexington while I'm talking about the crew of the Lexington. I want to show where we've been. And so then I say, okay, what good shot for that? And Lexington is kind of going place. Fine. Then we're going to talk about Narendra Station. So I want to have Narendra Station, and its flow is going to be dictated somewhat by the previous shot. But then we say a new ship. The new ship, we're going to have a hard cut rather than the fade from the original 2 shots, right? So the first shot of the Lexington is going to fade towards the shot of the Narendra Station. But then we say we have a new ship. Hard cut. We get that imposing view that I'm pretty much stealing from Star Wars, right? But then it comes up above the ship to show that it's not just a horrible, dangerous ship. We focus in on the name of the ship so you can see it's the new ship. Then we go into here where we're going to have the crew character arc come in. Then starting around here, we're going to have some shots of the runabout. Somewhere around here, we'll transition to the planet. Then we'll transition to a surface shot from the planet. And then right around here, there's going to be, like, it's going to fade down. The logo for Star Trek Endurance is going to come up. And then right here, where it does this, that's going to be a reveal of the date of the first episode. So that is the plan here. I'm hoping to get this done within a week or so. Basically, it depends on how fast Chesh can get me the character art. I'm hoping it's sooner rather than later, but I also don't want to rush her because, I mean, she's volunteering to do a lot of work for the show. So with that, though, everybody, I want to say thank you so much for hanging out. Jens Van Broekhoven, thank you so much for the support. It really does mean a lot. Between inflation and just not knowing what's going to be the state of the country from day to day, any support is really helpful. And specifically, support on this channel primarily goes towards supporting the cost of running TTRPG stuff, right? So like books, special dice if I need special dice, sometimes costume. So that is primarily what I want to use this money for. But I mean, times might get tough, and it might just be whatever money I can goes towards rice and beef. So hey, stay safe out there. I'm going to be live tomorrow at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern on my main channel for Dapper Reacts. We're going to be still going through that Bodhi book. I think Kip will be there. I'm pretty sure Vishanti will be. So hey, come hang out with that. Come hang out with me for that. I can talk, I promise. And I'll see y'all later. And thank you for hitting like on the video. Bye, everybody.